We've got a lot to discuss on the MeidasTouch podcast, so let's just get into it right away. Job numbers came out today. Only 1,494 new private sector jobs created. This was the worst kind of private sector jobs report since 2009. Want to talk about, as we're learning additional information about this purported military strike on a fishing boat off the coast of Venezuela, which purported to kill 11 people. Trump posted the execution video on his official social media account. There's conflicting reports. First, Secretary of State Rubio said the boat was heading to Trinidad, then said heading to the United States. It's really unclear what the heck is happening, and we need to really discuss that in detail. I want to also talk about the show of military force happened in Tiananmen Square in China, as you had Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi Jinping there, and that was a day after Prime Minister Modi of India showed that he was moving away from the United States and going to start developing a broader trading relationship with China based on the way the United States has been treating India. RFK on Capitol Hill saying some of the most dangerous things. RFK Jr.'s testimony, one of the worst testimonies I've ever seen. We'll talk about that. But we should begin talking about what went down this week. The big story, of course, is that the Epstein victims held a press conference demanding the release of the files, of course, with limited redactions of just the names of the victims. But they made their position very, very clear. And then Donald Trump proceeded to call it a hoax and said that this is all a hoax. Epstein's sex trafficking ring is a hoax. The files are a hoax. The victims are a hoax. None of this is real. This is just being done by the Democrats, everybody. We'll talk about that in more. Let's bring in Brett and Jordy. Brothers, how are you?
Doing great, Ben. Doing great, Jordy. It's great to be here. Great to be here, Midas Mighty. Thank you to everybody listening and watching. Remember to go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Brothers, looking like this is going to be, like, for sure my last show. As many of you know, I'm on Baby Watch over here. Baby Watch 2025. And this is definitely going to be my last show for the next couple shows. And so I'm excited to get into it. Jordy, what's the latest with you?
Phrasing is very important, Brett. You can't just, this is my last show. That's pins and needles when you say that, but we're obviously very excited for you and your wife, B. This is incredible stuff here. Just stoked to get into today's show. Benji, where are we starting off?
And we all know that Brett's talking about his baby, right? Like, that's your point, Jordy, right? Brett was a little cryptic with it. Brett, you made it clear the baby's going to be born any day now.
I'm just saying, starting the show being like, and just so everyone knows, this is my last show, is a crazy way to start. Without
it's a good point. I kind of a lot of people, I just assume people are kind of following the story over the past few episodes, but I guess not necessarily. So I guess I should specify that there's a baby on the way in my household. I'm very excited, and it's happening by the end of this weekend, no matter what. And so this is going to be
per doctor's orders.
Per doctor's orders. So this is going to be my last show until I am back. Probably just miss a couple shows. Let's be real. But yeah, let's get into it, Ben. What do we got today?
All right. Donald Trump held a deranged press conference in the Oval Office yesterday with the president of Poland at the same time that the Epstein victims were on Capitol Hill sharing their stories and demanding the release of the files. While that press conference was taking place, again, and while the new president of Poland was sitting there in the Oval Office, Donald Trump said, look, let me tell you what's really happening here. This has been the most successful 8 months in the history of the United States, which it actually hasn't. It's probably been the worst 8 months in the history of the United States, objectively, if we just look at facts, data, America's power declining, our alliances absolutely being destroyed. So Trump says all this Epstein stuff that you're seeing on Capitol Hill, these victims, the files, anything about Epstein, hoax. Just remember, like Russia. It's Epstein, hoax. And I'm just going to say it over and over and over again, because if I say it over and over and over again, apparently the media just listens to what I say, and I can turn people's brains into MAGA mush. Here, play this clip.
I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from two people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
According to everything I read, including the two people in this room, like, he can't even say a sentence that's normal, even as he's trying to engage in the fraud. According to the two people in this room, what does that even mean? Then he admits that he's aware that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, has been subpoenaed for the Epstein Files. But Donald Trump says there's nothing to do. We've turned over everything, which of course they haven't. I'll fact check it, but let's play it.
Nobody's going to talk about, because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from two people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
Just to fact check so many things there. Layoffs are up 39% in August to 85,979. Housing data shows sellers now exceed buyers by over 500,000, marking the largest imbalance ever recorded in the history of the market. We have U.S. companies announcing just 1,494 new jobs in August, lowest for the month since 2009, as layoffs surge. And
notoriously good job year of 2009.
Notoriously great. Notoriously great.
Economy.
It was just the Great Recession. I guess when Donald Trump says
make America great again, it was 2009's economy.
Make America great recession again. He missed a
depression
letter. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then, I think we're done, he goes. I think we're done turning over the files. Like, do you think we're all just so stupid that you turn over a number that sounds large, 33,000, and go, look, I've turned over the files? They're talking about the release of 33,000 documents, which they say are pages, which are part of the Epstein Files, except it was the part that was already produced many, many years ago. This is not actually the files in the Department of Justice's possession. And I've interviewed, everybody should go and take a look at this interview I did with Spencer Kuvin. And Spencer Kuvin is the lawyer for the first Epstein victims. He's since settled and resolved all of the cases for his clients, but he was the first lawyer to file against Epstein, the first lawyer to take the deposition of Epstein. He took multiple depositions of Epstein. And the way he described it is he goes, the 33,000 is like a needle in the haystack. It's the smallest amount in the massive trove of documents that are out there. He goes, there are the call logs that are out there. There are, the video cameras that taped everybody going in and out. There's phone books. There's way more logs. There's the witness statement. Rather than me say it, let's just bring in the lawyer Spencer Kuvin in my interview with him. Here's what he said we should be focused on. Let's play it.
He didn't keep a list of these people. What he would do is he would get calls from men, powerful men that were coming into town that lived in Palm Beach, for example, and they would call the home and they would say, hey, I'm in town. They would then talk to Miss Maxwell. Maxwell would then send a girl out to the house. That's how the operation would work. So if you really wanted to see exactly who was contacting Epstein and trying to get women, you look at his phone books. You look at his phone records. The phone message pads were obtained during the search warrant of the home back then. That's the first place we looked.
Portions of those phone message pads were released. Guess whose name was all over them? Donald Trump, because he was best friends with Epstein, so it's not a shocker, despite Ghislaine's Mary Poppins impression. Ooh, I do not know how I met him. Perhaps my daddy introduced me to him. I don't know.
Am I allowed to say a dirty word? Can I say the F word in this interview? Can I say a dirty word here? Shit. Oh. Oh, did I just say such a baddie? I'm such a baddie. Oh, please forgive me.
Person, but no, Epstein liked the women because of their musical tastes. He liked the song selection. He wanted to know if they were into Vanilla Ice or MC Hammer. That's what they were doing.
I mean, she literally basically said that during her thing. And then all the MAGAs are like, she exonerated him. Yo, she's a convicted sex trafficker, you nutbags. What are you talking about? Ghislaine Maxwell didn't exonerate any. She's trying to exonerate herself and a convicted sex trafficker.
And the judge in the trial would constantly note how vicious of a liar she was, how she's like the biggest con person on the planet. I think this all of this really just shows it's a microcosm for the kind of MAGA media, the right-wing media, and the kind of grip they have on these followers as we watch this kind of develop. Because we watched in real time these Trump supporters effectively get brainwashed by Donald Trump and the right-wing media into not caring about an issue that they have spent the last few years and years demanding the Epstein Files and trying to pin this on Democrats and whatnot. And now you look at over the week, you look at when they were doing the press conference with the victims, every network was playing at least portions of this press conference, except one. Fox. None of the right-wing networks were playing this at all. It was as if it did not exist. So this is one of the ways the right-wing media works. Not only does it try to spread certain propaganda, it also hides certain things from its viewers. Out of sight, out of mind, this isn't happening. And this whole Epstein saga, I think it lays bare the entire right-wing media playbook. You got right-wing media, you got these GOP politicians, the MAGA propagandists, all colluding to hide the most heinous acts imaginable, diverting their followers' attention to protect powerful people. And if you could look at it across this Epstein issue, you could also look at it across every single issue. It's basically the same playbook that they employ everywhere. And it doesn't matter how heinous, it doesn't matter how obvious. This is obviously one of the most kind of in-your-face situations there is. They could say, don't look over there, look over here, and their followers are just willingly going along with it. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. And the more you see Donald Trump try to deflect from this also, just the guiltier he looks. Like I've gradually thought he's been seemed guiltier and guiltier every single step of the way. And this is all culminating, of course, with now Donald Trump actually threatening Republican members of Congress, saying, if you vote for this discharge petition, which is the petition that would get a bill on the floor in order to say, if you vote for this, we will immediately have to release the Epstein Files. The Department of Justice will have to release the Epstein Files. Just the very notion of that discharge petition, which would just allow for the vote on the Epstein Files. Donald Trump and his administration are making threats at Republican congresspeople saying, basically, if you do this, then, watch your back. We will consider it a hostile act within this administration. How is it a hostile act to release the Epstein Files unless you're scared of what is in the Epstein Files?
You said you wanted released.
Yeah. Brett, to your point before, for a lot of the MAGA constituents there, this was the issue that, quote unquote, got them off the couch to go and vote, was this issue. So to see right-wing media and their total reframe of this and trying to conceal all of this from their audience is disgusting, but we shouldn't be surprised about that. What's beyond vile, though, is calling this the Epstein hoax that Donald Trump does time and time again. Like it truly makes my blood boil because it's dismissing like the lived trauma of all of the survivors. And it then just undermines the credibility of people who bravely came forward about the damn abuse. Like it's disgusting. Calling it the Epstein hoax erases their pain. And we'll pull up the press conference shortly. And it treats their suffering like it's some sort of political talking point. It's super gross. And then it adds another level of harm because it makes it seem like they're lying. Like these people who have really lived through hell. Donald Trump, the president, the commander-in-chief, is making it seem like these people are lying. These women now who were girls that were raped by Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophile cabal, it's making them seem like they're liars. I don't care if it's not a red issue. It's not a blue issue. It's a humanity issue. It's absolutely disgusting and absolutely disqualifying for Donald Trump when he calls this the Epstein hoax.
I'll just say, if you're falling for this, though, like, sorry, I'm just gonna say, if you fall for this crap, like, if all of a sudden now you are repeating this, because I see, and a lot of these people are probably just bots and whatnot, right? But I see all these Trump people who, right, you're still talking about the Epstein hoax, like, you're just a fucking idiot, okay? Like, you don't believe in anything. You're a bad human being. Like, just like look yourself in the mirror and try to, like, acknowledge what you've become, because it's just a disgrace.
And now they're saying it's the Democrat hoax, that these are actually all Democratic operatives. Watch Donald Trump say that here. Play this clip.
There have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massie, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now.
And then he pivots to talking about D.C., where restaurants are suffering and people in D.C. are living in fear of masked ICE agents and don't want the military roaming D.C. There was also a lawsuit filed by D.C. based on the same kind of legal precedent we saw in the Northern District of California, that having the military serve as a police is a violation of a late 19th century law called the Posse Comitatus Act. That had to be invoked because Trump's using the military as a police force. Later in the show, I'll talk about my interview with Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. It's a powerful interview where he gave Donald Trump a final warning to stay the hell out of Chicago, to stay the hell out of Illinois. But let me show you a few other things regarding the press conference that took place. So Donald Trump did have the president of Poland at the White House, but there have been lots of times where Trump's had world leaders at the White House. And the idea that he was doing a flyover just for the president of Poland does not pass the common sense smell test to me. I think he was doing the flyover to intimidate the Epstein victims, and then basically while they were giving their press conference and then trying to, in the pathetic Trump way that he always lies and makes excuses for things. No, I did it because the president of Poland was here. No, you were trying to intimidate the victim. So as you had Anuska DeGeorgia speaking, that's who the speaker is here. I'll tell you a little bit more about Anuska in a bit. They do the military plane flyover while the Epstein survivors are speaking. Here, play this clip.
Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children.
Saw that right there for our audio listeners, the flyover of fighter jets over where the Epstein victims were speaking. That's Anuska DeGeorgia in the Sunday Mirror UK rag that was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell. In 1997, there was an article in 1997 about how Ghislaine would bring young women to Donald and that she would be a supplier of young women, is how it was called. They said one of the young women they mention in the article, they say, is Anuska DeGeorgia, who was then spending time in the penthouse with Donald. And it was a very bizarrely written article. Anuska loves older men. It's like a grossly written article, very misogynistic. And again, I have no clue of what we do know that Anuska was indeed a sex trafficking victim of Epstein and Ghislaine. I don't know if Ghislaine was using the name of a young, attractive woman in order to, make Trump look cool, or if there was really a date. I don't know what took place there, but that's the name. If you're like, didn't I listen to, you doing videos before where Anuska DeGeorgia, that sounds familiar. That's from that article with Ghislaine and Trump and Ghislaine's dad's newspaper, the Sunday Mirror. But for Donald Trump saying it's a Democrat hoax, well, here's an Epstein victim who was on Lawrence O'Donnell, Lisa Jones. And Lisa Jones is a Trump voter. At least she was a Trump voter and supporter. because she thought he was going to release the files and help the victims because that's what he promised. So listen to what she has to say about all of this. Let's play it.
So I'm going to go off of my survivor sister, Haley Robertson, and I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he's saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
And here's Democratic Congressmember McGovern on the House floor yesterday. He's giving a speech. He sees the ASIN video. ASIN's our digital clipper and digital editor. And you'll see Congressmember McGovern react to Trump calling it a hoax as he sees the video we put out. Let's play it.
Hey, it is shameful. And it's speaking about the Epstein Files, again, I'm looking at the video of a few minutes ago. Donald Trump speaking to reporters, calling all this a hoax. All this, the Epstein Files, a hoax. He's not talking about what we're doing here. And by the way, let me just say to the gentleman and anybody else who wants to know, listen to what the victims were asking for outside this Capitol just a few minutes ago, the survivors of Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell. Listen to what the survivors have been saying. They want the Massey-Connor bill passed. They want something with teeth in it that will force this administration to comply because they don't trust that they will.
Democrats come out swinging, ready to fight on the House and Senate floor, ready to fight in the House and Senate committees. I want to highlight some of the committee developments. I want to talk about RFK showing up and what went down during his testimony. I want to talk about the economy. I want to talk about global affairs. Should be noted that the United States has now cut off all military aid to Eastern European allies, in addition to the way we've cut off aid to Ukraine. This is from the U.S. to cut some security funds for European countries bordering Russia. Move comes as Washington pushes NATO allies to pay more towards their defense. That's how at least it's being reported in the Financial Times, but there's far more to it than that. We'll talk more about what's going on there. Donald Trump didn't even show up to Paris today to the meeting with Zelensky, which first I thought Trump was going to be there with the coalition of the willing. Then it seems that Donald Trump didn't even bother to call into the meeting. He waited until it was done and then called Zelensky afterwards. And you literally have Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Putin, and others in China right now laughing at the United States on tape. We'll talk about that. But also, it's why we have to build an international pro-democracy movement. Shout out to Charlie Angus, who independently runs Meidas Canada. Over 100,000 subscribers on day one. Let's get that to 1 million subscribers in month one. So everybody check out Charlie Angus, Meidas Canada on YouTube. Elbows up. Such an honor to be launching a Meidas Canada.
And you can just go to youtube.com/@MeidasCanada. Charlie's been releasing at least one video every single day. The response has been absolutely incredible, and it's great to get, real Canadian perspectives on Canadian politics. There's nobody better to be running this than Charlie Angus. It's so great to have him doing this.
Become a member of our YouTube channel right now. You can click join. You can buy memberships or gift as many memberships as you want to others who may not be able to afford memberships. That's been hugely helpful in expanding our network, and all that coverage you're seeing we're doing. I'm sure you can see our expansion. It's thanks to you. And people often ask, what can I do to help the network? That's one thing you can do. The main thing you can do is just share the network with as many people. And I know economic times are tough, but if you're able to become a member, click join now and gift as many people memberships as you can. There's bonus features, there's access to emojis, there's special podcasts and more. We'll be right back after our first quick break of the show. We've got a lot to discuss.
have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before a night with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Now here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on having a great next day without worrying. So I first gave pre-alcohol a try when I was at a wedding over the summer. I drank it before my first cocktail, and you wouldn't believe how on top of my game I felt the very next morning. Now fall is right around the corner, so that means it's time to raise a glass to your favorite team. Whether you're tailgating, enjoying a college game day, or watching Sunday's action on that fancy new TV, don't forget ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink. Drink a pre-alcohol before drinking and enjoy great days after celebrating all season long. Go to zbiotics.com/Meidas to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Meidas at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas at checkout for 15% off.
All right, let's talk some facts here. 4 companies control over 80% of the U.S. meat industry. Not good. And China now controls the largest portion of U.S. pork. Not good. These companies are using really awful tactics, in my opinion, to crush American family farms. And with the additives they're putting into our food, Americans are stuck with sketchy meat not made in America, truly. So what can we do about this? Let me tell you about a company that's coming up swinging on behalf of the American family farms and your family's food security. They're called Moink. You know we love Moink here at the MeidasTouch Network. The business is simple. Moink's meat comes from animals raised outdoors, where a pig is free to be a pig. Their farmers are given an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, and they deliver meat straight to your doorstep at prices you can actually afford. Born, raised, and harvested right here in the United States of America. Moink is helping save rural America, which y'all know we need more than ever right now. I love Moink, especially their bacon, and I know you will too. Join the Moink movement today. Support American family farms and join the Moink movement today at moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch right now and get free bacon for a year. That's 1 year of the best bacon you'll ever taste, but for a limited time. It's spelled MOINK box.com/MeidasTouch. That's moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch. Join the movement.
Let's go, Ben. That's an electric moinkery right there. Links in description of the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Shout out Moink, shout out ZBiotics. Benji, A++, big bro. You might need to do more of those.
Movement. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about what's going down on the House floor. Democratic Congress member Joe Neguse. He's on the floor. He's in the Rules Committee. He crushes it. He's from Colorado, Congress member from Colorado. And he's like, are y'all MAGAs just going to keep on whining about Biden? Like, we're 8 months in. We're 200 days in. Like, is everything just going to be Biden, Biden, Biden? Because, like, it's getting old. And frankly, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from watching you all try to blame the economy now on Biden. Okay, here, play this clip.
My colleague from Minnesota, I think, said the word Biden 8 times, if I'm not mistaken. You couple that with references to the prior administration, that jumps up to 12 or 13. It's unclear to me when Republicans are going to stop complaining and actually do something to address the challenges that face our country. They spend more time talking about Joe Biden than they do about reducing costs. Every sentence from that side of the aisle, Biden, a verb, an adjective, and more coal. That's essentially the sum total of every sentence. And by the way, my colleagues, I suspect, are watching from their offices. I know that more of my colleagues are going to come to the floor here to engage in debate on, I don't know, how many CRAs are they putting on the floor today? 3, 4, 5. That's all we do around here is CRAs. So I encourage them as they're watching, just please, when you come to the floor, maybe spend some time talking about your affirmative vision for the country and not so much time talking about the prior president.
Well, that's all they've got. All they know how to do is whine and complain, right? And lie. So that's why you have Transportation Secretary Duffy, who's from Real World Road Rules Challenge reality show from the 1990s. Everything is Buttigieg and Biden's fault. And then Pete Hegseth. Why was it that Prime Minister Modi met with Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin? Why did they do that military parade where they were laughing at Donald Trump? What do you think Hegseth's going to say, everybody? Because of Biden. Biden did that in China. Here, play this clip.
China was celebrating. They're having this parade in Tiananmen Square featuring a display of advanced equipment, and they invited Putin and they invited Kim Jong-un in attendance. So what message are they trying to send, and what is the administration's response?
Well, unfortunately, the weakness of the previous administration has driven Russia and China closer together. That was a terrible development of a lack of American leadership and a lack of American strength. And you saw it around the world, and it manifests in what we saw on TV last night. But
quite literally the opposite. And again, that's what I mean. Like these people are just like, they're like loser people. Mm-hmm. They're like real, like cowardly, pathetic humans. Like the fact that you would go, oh, that all happened just now in China because of Biden. I'll tell you what happened because of Biden. 2 countries joined NATO, Finland and Sweden. NATO's expansion is a show of strength. You had Biden meeting with the foreign ministers of Japan and South Korea together, side by side, on a trilateral basis, bringing them together. Biden strengthening all of our alliances in the Pacific. You had Biden making NATO stronger than ever, supporting Ukraine. That's actually what took place. And then you had the constant, when Biden was in the presidency, undermining of him by this right-wing fascist international movement of people like Nigel Farage and Bukele and Orban and Le Pen in France. They're all from the same crew of spreading the same lies from the same playbook and spreading all of this disinformation to come into power, the same stuff, and then engage in the havoc that we're seeing right now. I mean, the fact that we'll show you this in a bit. Nigel Farage, not from the right-wing extremist, they called the Reform Party, but they should not be named that. It's like being called the Truth Party or Truth Social. You're not about reform. This is Mr. Brexit. This is Mr. Anti-European Union, anti-NATO. This guy spews some of the most hateful conspiracies. He was the witness that the Republicans called to the House committees to talk about free speech. And then when he was asked by Moskowitz, who you having lunch with? Oh, I can't. I'm too much of a gentleman to share with you who I'm having lunch with. I would not do. So you're meeting Donald Trump. Oh, I would never spill the beans about where I'm going to have lunch. I would not tell you where I'm going to have lunch. Got it. You're meeting with Donald Trump. Is this a free? Aren't you supposed to speak? Oh, no, I wouldn't. That's discretion is the better part of valor. Let me explain to you. So you have that going on. But Brett, at an international level, Hegseth blames Biden. Let me show you this one.
Guys, just think about the humiliation, though, right? That Trump has received at the hands of Vladimir Putin since that meeting. Donald Trump holds this meeting, invites Vladimir Putin to Alaska. They have this summit, which is a complete and total disaster. Trump is all smiles when he greets Putin. He's clapping his hands like a seal. He's like embracing Putin as if he's like some like great guy. They have this meeting. Trump's face is very different by the end of it. They send the delegations home. They cut the meeting meetings early. And then what happens after that? Putin bombs Ukraine with the most relentless bombing campaign that he has the entire time. He basically says F you to any sort of peace efforts. He then goes to China, meets with Xi, meets with Kim Jong-un during this parade that they threw there, which was obviously like a show of force by China, just mocking Donald Trump and also mocking Donald Trump's attempt at a similar parade with the scale and scope of their parade that they did. And then you have Putin, you have Kim Jong-un, and you have Xi walking together, buddy, and their message to the world there is we are the new power center thanks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has abdicated. His country is no longer the center of the world. Right now, it is now us. We are the superpowers who are going to dictate how things go for now on. Then you have people like Modi, right? Modi in India. He's now buddy with Putin, buddy with Xi. There's this entire shift right now in the global order. And it's all thanks to Donald Trump saying, basically just pulling America out completely of its leadership role and letting these countries take the mantle. It is just such an embarrassment.
And it really shows you too, hey, it's really important to have allies. Like this whole notion of isolationism, like that's not going to fly. That's not going to end well for America. So don't attack Canada, Donald Trump. Don't attack friendly countries to the United States, because sooner or later, there's going to be a group of countries, and we're seeing it come through, that team up against America. And we're going to look around and be like, hey, who's got our back? I know we've been jerks and everything, and I know we've been doing this tariff stuff, but like, y'all still got us, right? Like, it's us. Y'all, you can't bank on that anymore, because you are an embarrassment on the global stage, and you're dragging this country down with you.
Yeah, and it's perfectly summed up by this account, Adrian P. from Eastern Europe. When the Financial Times reported, Pentagon officials last week informed European diplomats the U.S. would no longer fund programs that train and equip militaries in Eastern European countries that would be on the front line of any conflict with Russia. This Adrian P. account goes, good. I'm confident Europe will be able to protect itself. In the meantime, I'm sure the 77 million dumb Americans who voted for this clown car administration and the 90 million idiots who stayed home in November will suffer way more than the Europeans ever will. Next time a 9/11 happens or America needs our help, they can suck it and suffer. Try living in a world without friends anymore, you dumb mother effers. I mean, that's how they feel. That's how they feel in Canada. That's how they feel in Europe. And even like a Prime Minister Keir Starmer can try to act like, oh, let's get along with the people across the world are done with this American clown show right now. This wannabe fascism. It's a pathetic version of fascism, because the fascists don't want Trump in their club. Like, he's the loser fascists. And the fascists look at the loser fascists and they're like, yeah, what's he doing right now? Oh, the guy with the hands that are decomposing before our eyes. He's talking about invading California, his own states, and Illinois. What a pathetic loser. Oh, what's he going to say with the new president of Poland there? What's he going to talk about? Oh, he's going to talk about Gavin Newsom's hands? Oh, he's going to talk about Newsom's hands? Here, play this clip of him talking about Newsom's hands in the Oval Office.
And Newsom, this is a very incompetent guy. I watched him with the hands. I'm saying, what's going on with the hands? There's something wrong with him. Do you watch him? There's something wrong with this guy. But
I just want you to think obviously, Trump's hands literally are rotting in front of us. Like, Trump's hands look like he dipped his hands in a freaking piranha tank and then lifted him out and says, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. His ankles are like 29 inches, and like the guy is clearly going through it. We've heard him. We've heard him.
Newsom should do a side by side of his hands and Trump's hands and say, y'all want to talk hands, and just see what Trump does. I bet.
Well, Newsom's doing this because Donald Trump posted a photo of Newsom wearing a Trump 2028 hat, to which Newsom then posted a photo of only a slightly AI adjusted version of Donald Trump. And then and then Donald Trump thought it would be funny to, do we have that as a video, Brett, or do we just have it as the photo? It's fine either way. If we've got the video, let's play it. If not, just the photo's fine.
Yeah, I've got it. I just got to find it.
Don't worry about it. Donald Trump then posting a photo of Senator Schiff from California with a pencil neck. That was one of the Donald Trump's posts. Donald Trump posting an AI image of Rosie O'Donnell, and then the White House reposted it and said, and made some post attacking Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, just think about this.
The official White House account, it's one thing when Donald Trump does it, it's embarrassing enough. But to have the official White House government account posting this manipulated Rosie O'Donnell photo that's threatening to revoke her citizenship is just so vile for so many reasons. And it's just stunning that there is no Republican willing to say, yeah, at least this is embarrassing. Like, we are embarrassed by this. How could you possibly be proud of yourself to support this sort of shit? Just absolutely nuts. And Ben, I do have... I keep losing. I have the Newsom clip. Let me play this one.
This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw, frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries.
Newsom posted that for our audio listeners. It's the photo of Trump that's a little manipulated, making him look.
But can you imagine Xi Jinping or Putin or whoever just going out every day and talking about invading the governors of their own cities and provinces and states and locales? It's a crazy concept. Or like Xi Jinping, or just going out there every day and whining about your predecessor over and over and over. It's the biggest loser quality. Like, America is a loser country right now under Donald Trump. Like, these qualities are the quality, objectively, not even looking at it, Democrat. The guy whines about the old presidency every single day, 200 days in. He talks about invading his own country. We had 4 ships, massive ships, and a nuclear submarine off the coast of Venezuela. And Trump posts an execution video, which he purports to be an execution video, of a fishing boat getting blown up by the United States military. Trump claims 11 people were killed. He says they're Tren de Aragua gang members headed to the United States. I'm not going to play the video. It's a death video. It's like an ISIS-style video. Could you imagine any foreign leader at all, other than like ISIS or like Bin Laden or like the old, not even Taliban 2.0, maybe Taliban 1.0 post execution videos? He's posting execution videos on the official account, bragging that he killed 11 people in a 16-foot fishing boat. And we're not stupid. I mean, a 16-foot fishing boat doesn't have the fuel capacity to make it to the United States. I don't even count 11 people on it. I can see 3 people, but I don't even need to go down that rabbit hole. It's hard for me to fathom that Tren de Aragua goes around with just like all this like cocaine and heroin and drugs in open fishing boats with like that aren't sealed, or like the drugs aren't hidden. Also, if you say that Tren de Aragua is involved in human trafficking and smuggling, right? That's one of the, how do you know they don't have on that boat a child that they're trafficking or someone they're smuggling, and that you've just killed innocent people in addition to gang members? Under what legal authority do you go around and just start murdering people, even if they are drug dealers? There's not another way to stop that boat in the open seas. You just go and kill in territorial waters of Venezuela. Then you have Rubio's story that the boat was headed to Trinidad. Then he changes the story. You have Hegseth saying, don't worry, this was not AI. This is not an AI. I wasn't even thinking it could be an AI video, but Hegseth's like, this isn't an AI video, everybody. This is super. I'm being super serial, everybody.
No, we took you at your word. We took you at your word on this one, Hegseth. Something tells me this is exactly what y'all will do. I mean, for our audio listeners, when you're looking at this, but this is not a big boat, right? This isn't some yacht that they took out. It's 16 feet max, right? Okay, drug dealers, bad. Gang members, bad. But that doesn't just give you a license to kill without knowing more of what's going on with that tiny Teeny tiny fishing boat. I mean, I could just imagine the cost analysis of this. The missile probably cost at least 11 times more than any drugs that could, I don't know that number to be true, but I'm just saying the missile alone was probably more expensive than any drugs that were actually on that bus. And again, drug dealers, bad. Gang members, bad. Yes, agreed. But for America, that doesn't then just give you a license to kill people on a 16-foot fishing boat.
Also,
but I'm not in a place to trust this administration on everything. We saw what they've done with Abrego Garcia. We saw when they put on his hands MS-13, and then Donald Trump said over and over, look, he has the tattoo on his hands. Remember that Terry Moran clip? And they were like, no, your people put that on. Your people put the letters on his knuckles. And Trump said, no, that's real. Those are real. They're willing to say anything to justify their actions. And a lot of these same Trump voters would criticize Bush for things that weren't even like a quarter of what Donald Trump is doing now, like the surveillance state that Donald Trump is creating right now, the actions that Donald Trump is taking, the extrajudicial actions that he is taking by simply saying, oh yeah, that person's a terrorist, I have the right to kill them. That person's a drug dealer, I have the right to kill them. When in American history has that ever been okay? We lived through the shame of that during the Bush administration, and then there was actually a backlash to that. All of these people who support Trump now pretend to hate all those things that Bush did. They're supporting things that Donald Trump is doing that are a billion times worse than anything Bush did. And Donald Trump is just posting it to his social media feed. Don't tell me you need 4,000 troops, multiple warships to go towards Venezuela for a little teeny tiny fishing boat that couldn't, even if it had drugs on it, couldn't have even had that much. It definitely couldn't have made it to the United States from where it was departing. And why can't you do it the same way anyone's always done any of this stuff? Send the Coast Guard out, I don't know, send somebody to approach the boat, actually check in on what's going on. I'm just supposed to trust the Trump administration that lies about freaking everything, that this is exactly what they were saying it was, that this is a terrorist organization, that they were coming to the United States. I'm supposed to trust the people who said that Haitian migrants were eating cats and dogs. Like, these people are not on the up and up about anything.
You know, and I'm not trying to be coarse because we're talking about a much more serious subject matter here, but it would be like LeBron James posting a video of himself like dunking on a little baby, like dunking on Jordy's little baby boy, and go, "Rah!" It's like, okay, you're LeBron James. I didn't doubt that the United States military has the capabilities of blowing up a freaking fishing boat. Why don't you try to focus now on doing the hard work, which is supporting NATO and supporting Ukraine and supporting Zelensky in real wars, in real fights, versus you blowing up freaking fishing boats and posting it on your social media? I mean, for real, other than ISIS, right, which would post the death videos that they would do, what group of people post execution videos other than terrorist organizations, like leaders, like the Ayatollah of Iran's not posting photos, videos of the executions. I mean, they're happening, but you're not posting it publicly online. Like, this is not even a thing to brag. It makes you look extra weak. I think it reinforces, first off, like, are you going to have a fishing boat? Like, do you want to fish in the Gulf of Mexico or be anywhere even near all of this, get shot down? But if you're our allies, you're like, yo, they are literally crazy. Not like crazy good, like they are weak crazy, and what the hell is going on there in general. So when we come back, I want to show you, speaking of which, it's like everything to hurt the country they're doing. Let's get rid of wind and solar energy. Why? Donald Trump doesn't like windmills. Let's not make vaccines a requirement for children anymore, where now polio, measles, mumps, rubella, all of these serious diseases, bubonic plague, can now spread once again. Why? Because Trump and RFK Jr. think that spreading this disinformation is a great way to grift, and it's part of their fake science or quackery that they engage in. It's every move they make is nonsensical, non-planned, no organization, because Trump's a crazy guy. He's literally like a psychopath. He's a malignant narcissist psychopath who doesn't speak in full sentences, and he's like treated like, oh, I guess that's the president of. No, I don't need to show this crazy psychopath any respect. The guy's a lunatic. He's not speaking in sentences. He's rotting and decomposing before our eyes. He makes us look so weak and pathetic. He's covering up for a pedosex trafficking ring, and just call out this behavior. When we come back, we'll show you more. I want to show what Governor Pritzker said to me. I want to show what went down in some of these hearings. And let's talk about other topics as well. A reminder, subscribe to Meidas Canada. Charlie Angus leading Meidas Canada. It's doing great. I want to see Meidas Canada hit 1 million subscribers. So please, everybody subscribe to Meidas Canada. It's an honor, really. This has been like one of the most incredible things I felt like I've done in my life in order to help. And it's just, now it's Charlie Angus. Charlie's going to run it. Charlie has full editorial control, he's going to run this in the interest of Canada. But democracy needs to be viewed as across borders internationally as a movement. So I'm looking to Australia next. We're looking to Europe and Mexico and South America and Asia and Africa, where I want to have more MeidasTouch networks there as well. And a reminder, please join. So become a member right now of the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. We'll be right back. Lot to discuss. Last break of the show.
This episode of the MeidasTouch Podcast is brought to you by Graza, my new favorite olive oil. What makes it so good? It's fresh, never blended, and made from a single type of olive, the picual, grown in Jaén, Spain, which produces over half of the world's olive oil. Let me tell you why Graza stands out. First, single origin goodness. One olive, one region. That means no mystery blends and no watered down lower grade oils, just a pure, traceable, fresher product. Second, the squeeze and spray bottles are legit game changers. No more messy tins or dripping spouts, just aim, squeeze, and go. And finally, they've got 3 types for any task. Frizzle with a higher 490 degree Fahrenheit smoke point, perfect for frying, crisping, and grilling. Sizzle at 410 degrees Fahrenheit, your go-to everyday cooking oil for roasting, marinating, and sautéing. And drizzle, a bold, punchy finishing oil that's perfect on salads, breads, or even ice cream if you want to get fancy like I do. Personally, what I love most is that as a busy guy who loves to cook, the squeeze and spray bottle makes everything easier. Whether I'm roasting veggies or just whipping up a quick marinade, zero mess and full flavor. Plus, you get 10% off your first order when you order on Graza's site. I personally recommend the trio. That's all 3 bottles, sizzle, frizzle, and drizzle, so you're covered for every style of cooking. So head to graza.co and use code MeidasTouch to get 10% off of trio, which includes sizzle, frizzle, and drizzle, and get to cooking your next chef quality meal. That's MEIDAS.
Does listening to the craziness of the world just make you want to cuddle up on the couch with your cat? Well, me too. This podcast is sponsored by Smalls. If you're a listener of this show, you know that my cat cannot live without Smalls. To get 60% off your first order plus free shipping, head to smalls.com and use our promo code MeidasTouch for a limited time only. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. My cat Chubbs eats Smalls every day. His favorite flavor is the chicken and turkey. My cat prefers Smalls way more than their previous cat food. Now, I legitimately did a taste test. I put 2 bowls side by side, and they immediately went to Smalls. Since making the switch to Smalls, my cat has had fewer hairballs, more balanced energy, a healthier weight, a softer and shinier fur coat, and a less stinky litter box. Still not a believer in Smalls? Forbes ranked Smalls the best overall cat food, while BuzzFeed said my cats went completely ballistic for this stuff. Smalls is possibly one of my favorite sponsors because my cat Chubbs is frankly obsessed. I use Smalls as a topper to transition Chubbs to Smalls, and the transition just went perfectly. My cat's breath is much better, and their fur coat is much softer ever since I switched to Smalls. Smalls also has a bunch of amazing treats and snacks that you can add in your order. My cats love the treats that came in our most recent box. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That's a big deal. What are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time only, because you're a MeidasTouch Podcast listener, you get 60% off your first Smalls order plus free shipping by using code Meidas. That's 60% off when you head to smalls.com and use our promo code Meidas. Again, that's promo code Meidas for 60% off your first order plus free shipping at smalls.com. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise, filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk growing kids should never eat. That's why Haya was created, the pediatrician-approved superpowered chewable vitamin. While most children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and can contribute to a variety of health issues, Haya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk, yet it tastes great and is perfect for picky eaters. Haya fills the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids need with a yummy taste that they love. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else you can imagine. Haya is designed for kids of all ages and sent straight to your door so parents have one less thing to worry about. My son loves Haya so much, and he also had a blast decorating the bottle with the stickers that come in the first order. I can't speak more highly of Haya. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/Meidas. The deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/Meidas and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description, both the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Benji, right before we move on, I just had this thought while we were at break. You know, the Putin-Trump Alaska meeting, it just gets weirder and weirder when you think about that. And I almost think Putin was using that to kind of size Donald up again, you know, just be like, hey, I heard this guy has lost, you know, whatever fastball he may have had previously. Let me just see how weak and pathetic he is. And then after seeing it in person, he's like, oh, it's worse. It's way worse. Hey, hey, guys over here. Can we let's link up over here. Let's link up over here. Cause yeah, America is cooked under Donald Trump.
They were already linked up, but yes, but with the other people who were showing up, I think that obviously their discussion was, I saw it up close. Like, the dude is crazy. Like, did you believe like the gift that we've been handed? Oh, we were lucky. Russia's economy was down the tubes. We were getting screwed. The sanctions were working. This guy like loves me. He's so weird. And then Modi's like, yeah, funny. He thinks that he's gonna go after India. We're gonna just go elsewhere. I mean, the guy's a total lunatic. He wanted me to give him a Nobel Peace Prize. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize from me. And then he goes to Pakistan and they give him a Nobel Peace Prize and they invest the money in Trump's new crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. The guys, what do you think? They're doing exactly what I'm saying. What do you think they're talking about? We are the laughing stock of the world. When Trump is like, oh, the world's laughing at us. They literally are laughing at us. And our corporate media is so like WWE media, or like the way the NFL channel covers the NFL is how corporate media like covers America. They're like, everybody loves it. Let's go. Like, okay, y'all are just wild. Like, it's why I always have been reading India's media, what's going on in Japan, what's going on in Canada. I've studied it. And if I felt that like they're being propagandized the way Sky News does, which is owned by Murdoch in Australia, for example, I'm listening to what the people are actually saying. And across the world, no one respects America, right? Nobody respects America. Zero. We are looked at as a crazier country than North Korea with Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un ain't posting the execution videos. You got Donald Trump blowing up fishing boats and posting execution videos and then doing Rosie O'Donnell. No offense to Rosie O'Donnell, because I actually think she's great. No one's thinking about Rosie O'Donnell right now other than Donald Trump. The fact that Rosie O'Donnell other than like, oh, she was funny and she, I liked her. I mean, I think she was a talented person. She's trying to live a peaceful life in Ireland. But who's waking up and going, Rosie? And by the way, it's because Trump perpetually also lives in like 1991 and 1992. Like, his whole reference to the world are events that happened Like
he does
30
seem stuck in that time period. By the way, I think a lot of his followers seems kind of stuck in that time period as well. It's a weird thing, but and when Trump's focusing on Rosie, when he's posting these dumb memes, when we are seeing these purges of actual expertise from our government, when we are seeing USAID dismantled, when we're seeing the CDC purged, when we're seeing what's happening with RFK and the HHS, and oh my God, we'll play some of these clips from this hearing today, which was just the entire thing was such a train wreck. When we see what his Department of Energy is doing to our energy and our climate, you know what all these other countries are doing? You know what China's doing and Russia's doing, North Korea, all these other countries, they're going, okay, they're totally, sidelining themselves from these futuristic, technologies, and they're sidelining themselves from being the world leader of health and energy and all this stuff. I guess we'll just do it then. I guess we'll be the best now. They don't want to do it. We'll do it.
Thinking of like a World Cup reference, soccer here in the United States or football abroad. Imagine like you're playing a competitive game and you think it's like the two best teams playing against each other. So you're like, all right, we've been training with, we're ready to go against the best teams, number 1 versus number 2 in the world. You start playing, and then the best team, number 1 in this case, the USA, starts taking the ball, and then they start dribbling it back and then just start scoring and doing own goals on their own net every single time. They keep scoring on themselves. And in this example that I'm giving, China's like looking at the United States continue to score on its own goal. And they're like, I guess okay. I guess.
And then the head coach, instead of yelling at his players, hey, stop doing the own goals, he's saying, Rosie, no, Rosie. I mean, I want to comment on the Rosie stuff just really quick because it's really embarrassing. I just want to say it is really, really friggin' embarrassing. Rosie is amazing, and the way she's handled it is amazing. Needless to say, Trump's behavior it's bizarre, it's pathetic, and it is embarrassment to this country. Like, it's beneath the office, but so obviously not beneath the man who is Donald Trump or the it that is Donald Trump. It feels like he's been attacking Rosie now for like 15 years. It's really like next level deranged stuff. And I mean that, like, it is really deranged stuff. So corporate media, not to play our favorite game, but to play our favorite game. Imagine if Biden did it. Imagine if President Biden, from the official accounts of the president and the White House, tweeted out stuff attacking a citizen of the country, saying, hey, I am going to we're looking into revoking their citizenship. Like, imagine if he did just one tweet like that, just one, not the hundreds that Trump has attacked Rosie in the past, but imagine if Biden just did one. Your reaction would be that this man is unfit for office. It is beneath the office. This is despicable. This shouldn't. So why now? And I mean it. Why now? Why, when Donald Trump does it, you don't hold his feet to the fire? Because he's Donald Trump. It's just Donnie being Donnie. No, it's an embarrassment to this friggin' country. Middle schoolers wouldn't get away with this type of behavior if they picked on their classmates like this. Why are we why is corporate media letting President Trump get away with this type of behavior?
Well, let me show you this. So we're gonna get into the vaccine stuff and this disastrous RFK hearing today, which was just a total mess. But I think it fits into this whole notion of the destruction of our institutions, the destruction of things that actually make America great, and the ability of other countries to step in and to actually have dominance in these areas. So one example is energy and the climate. And so if we look at this right here, this was a real tweet that was sent by the Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright. We've played some videos of Chris Wright over the past few weeks on this show. And he writes the following, and I'll just preface this in the beginning that this is a lie, and I'll give you the fact check after. He says, even if you wrapped the entire planet in a solar panel, you would only be producing 20% of global energy. One of the biggest mistakes politicians can make is equating the electricity with energy. So he was fact-checked by a community note on Twitter that said, actually, covering just 1% of land with solar panels could theoretically power the entire planet. Electricity is energy, and electrification replaces fossil use in transport, heat, and industry. So just this very notion that you have the Secretary of Energy, you have this this solar energy, this incredible technology that other countries are expanding, that we've been expanding here in the United States. And you have somebody who is just attacking this form of energy just because of their ideology, just to support the fossil fuel industry. I get it. You like fossil fuels. I get it. Yes, we still do need fossil fuels. I'm not going to deny that. But you have these renewable forms of energy and you're just going to say F you to that. You know who's not being an idiot? You know who's not being stupid? China. I'll show you right now. Look how China is dominating in solar energy. For those listening, I'm showing a chart which shows the China's wind and solar construction and how it compares to the rest of the world. There is one giant circle that is China's wind and solar construction. You could see the United States is one of the bubbles to the right. This just shows you that other countries aren't playing these weird ideology games that MAGA's playing where they just go, oh, screw that. That's woke. No, they're going, this is actually going to help us. We're going to be in the future while the United States is going to be focused on coal and fossil fuels and doing all this dumb stuff. You've had the Trump administration now, I think it was like near Rhode Island. There was a wind farm that they were creating that was like nearly done. It was like 90%, maybe 95% completed. They stopped the whole project. So that's like jobs that are going away. That's more renewable energy that are going away just because Donald Trump doesn't like wind. And Donald Trump likes to say that the prices of everything are coming down. Just a complete lie. You look at energy prices, which is something that Donald Trump says are hitting rock bottom. I'll show you the electricity costs right here. Electricity costs are near a record high right now. A record high. And this is as right now we're seeing AI spread throughout the country. AI uses so much energy and is so bad for the climate that we really need as much energy as we could get if we're going to be able to deal with all of this. And so, for example, Meta right now is building a data center in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We'll use more electricity than every single home in the state in that one data center. So at a time when we should be trying to find as much energy and electricity as we can, as much forms, expanding solar, expanding wind, Donald Trump and his administration are spreading lies about these technologies just to help the fossil fuel industry, and they're screwing over America. They're making you pay more, and none of it makes any sense. And other countries are taking the mantle and they go, okay, we're going to do it then. Okay, so screw you guys.
Then you have U.S. oil giants, though, like ConocoPhillips and many others, laying off most of their staff. Like 25, I think ConocoPhillips announced like 25% of all of its staff's going to be laid off. And they're the latest in a series of these oil companies that are saying they're losing money. They can't really expand their drilling anymore. So there's no drill, baby drill. I think everybody needs to realize, though, that when holistically the economy is doing bad, that's bad for everybody. And when Trump pits us all against each other and we're not working together to diversify and have a broader overall goal, everybody ends up getting screwed. If you think, oh, he's going to help me, but he's going to screw over them. No, it's going to eventually screw you over as well. And we're seeing that with the job numbers, the fact that it's the worst private sector job report numbers since 2009. Right. I think for the first time in recent in the market history, there are significantly like more houses that are out there. What's the stat, Brett, about how there are more houses that are out for sale right now? Housing data shows sellers now exceed buyers by over 500,000, marking the largest imbalance ever recorded in the market. There's so many other real traps like that exist right now.
Like every economic metric right now, indicator looks horrible. Like both beneath the surface, everything looks absolutely horrible. And then you have the markets, which are doing their own thing. But you have like, it's really looking like 2009 recession indicators all over the place, just waiting for the house of cards to fall. And the fact that like nobody is really calling this out right now is just absolutely insane.
And then it's always reported, though, in the news. Everything's like sudden. It's a shock. Oh, my gosh. Shocking report. How did we not pick this up? It's staring you in the face. The data's right. If you want to look at accurate data, it's all right there. None of this should come as a surprise when we head into a recession. when we're in stagflation, right? I mean, we're basically in stagflation right now. Nobody wants to call it and be the first to report it, but we have declining GDP, we have rising inflation, and we have rising unemployment. That's called stagflation. Like, that exists. Was really bad in the 1970s. And the impact of the tariffs, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse now, because it really only started to take effect over the past 30 to 60 days in a aggressive sense, because Trump kept on delaying and this and that. And now they're in effect, and people's businesses are getting absolutely crushed. The uncertainty is crushing businesses. Businesses have tried. If you're a business person, you know what I'm talking. Businesses have tried so hard not to pass it on to the consumer and eat it as much as they can't anymore. Otherwise, they're going to go bankrupt. And guess what? There have been more bankruptcies through August than the last 2.5 years combined, and the most bankruptcies on record since the Great Recession also. We're seeing all this data in front of us, not to mention there are 6 million Americans who are defaulting on their student loans right now. That means their credit has been trashed. That means they can't buy cars or lease cars or buy homes or rent homes. They can try to maybe get a co-signer or get a family member, but we've just removed 6 million college-educated people or even grad school-educated people from participating in the market by using the Department of Education for the sole purpose of being punitive versus actually using the Department of Education to be helpful. It's what Gavin Newsom said, that Trump uses the government to do things to people, to hurt people. And Newsom says we should use the government to do things for people. The government should help people and actually do things. I interviewed Governor Pritzker today, who said, Trump's got weird derangement syndrome about me. He wants to focus on invading Chicago. Maybe he should focus on some other things rather than just like, hey, Don, focus on the world and what your actual job is. Stop being obsessed with me. Here, play this clip.
We've reduced crime significantly in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. We are in the bottom half in terms of, high violent crime of the states, right? We're 19th best in the country. I'd like to be first best in the country, but 19th is way better than the president is indicating. And the city of Chicago isn't even in the top 25 most dangerous violent crime cities. So he needs to do a little reading. I know he doesn't do much of that. And instead, maybe someone can inform him of what the facts are. But he seems a little obsessed with me and with Chicago. Maybe he's got Pritzker derangement syndrome. But maybe, again, he could just, take a beat, learn a few things, and focus elsewhere, maybe on protecting the country from the axis of evil that is beginning to form between China, Russia, North Korea, and they're drawing in India now.
I want to share this well said. And by the way, if you want to know how broken our media is right now, when I've seen all the interviews with Governor Pritzker, everything the media wants to ask is like, do you take Ozempic now? Or my God, how are you getting so skinny? And it's like, dude, the guy's city is about to be invaded any moment right now. Like, the number one topic, are you taking this one or are you taking Zephyron? It's like, okay. Just leave the man alone. Stop asking him private health questions about himself. Just focus on the fact that Trump is, invading another United States city. Let's talk quickly about what went down during these congressional hearings in the Senate. RFK Jr. was there, Democratic senator from Virginia. Mark Warner had some questions. Let's take a look at what went down.
That seems where your emphasis is. I want to go back to just, again, some basic facts. Do you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID? I don't know how many died. You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID? I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there was so many perverse incentives. And these are model studies. You don't know the answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again,
I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration absolutely dismal.
So who is politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go
Krauss.
to the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krauss. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krauss.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant? I remember when we went through the hearing with you, I asked you about community health centers. You didn't know what role they play. I've been visiting community health. I'm glad you got to one. I think in April. I tell you what I hear on community health centers, they are terrified.
Senator Michael Bennett, Democrat from Colorado. Let's play it.
Are you saying that a mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're
Mr.
evading
Kennedy.
that question.
I'm asking the questions,
I
Mr.
asked you a
Kennedy.
question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Show you Republican Senator Cassidy from Louisiana himself. He's a doctor. He's the reason why Kennedy ended up getting confirmed, because Kennedy made him a promise. RFK Jr. made him a promise that he would not do anything with the vaccine advisory boards, and then right away manipulated the vaccine advisory boards. So Senator Cassidy had a clever, I guess, way of doing this and saying, do you think Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for Operation Warp Speed, getting out the vaccines? And then when RFK Jr. says yes, because they're all sycophants who say that Donald Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize, go, how does that make sense? You've said the vaccine has killed millions of people. So if it's killed millions of people, why are you going to give them the Nobel Peace Prize? There's no logic to these people because they're illogical, like vile human beings. Here, play this clip.
Economy's an incredible accomplishment. Mr. Secretary, do you agree with me that the president deserves a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed?
Yeah, absolutely, Senator. That was phenomenal.
Let me ask you, but you just told Senator Bennett that the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID.
Wait,
that was a statement.
I did not say that.
Okay, then let me ask, because you also were
Senator, I just want to make clear, I did not say that.
We'll check the record. That's a question of fact. You also said that you were also, as lead attorney for the Children's Health Defense, you engaged in multiple lawsuits attempting to restrict access to the COVID vaccine. Again, it surprises me that you think so highly of Operation Warp Speed when, as an attorney, you attempted to restrict access.
Okay, good questioning, but why you confirm the guy? Like, why would you vote in favor of that guy? I mean, that to me in this moment is, you want to call it the Murkowski or Susan Collins or the Cassidy model. Like you supported the guy who you knew would kill people, and then he's killing people, and then you are like, why are you killing people when you knew that he was that guy? Like
you could have stopped it, man. Like
you could have stopped this. And there's so many people, like, you could stop this. And it's not even asking them to be courageous. It's just asking them, just say no. I'm not even asking you to go the distance, like, and actually fight. Like, all you have to do is vote against this, and you could have saved, but like, now you're complicit in whatever the hell this is. So
did you hear how quick
I could show you 100 other clips like that, but that's okay.
I was just because did you hear how quick he responded when he thought the question was going to be more positioned to Donald Trump than the Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, he jumped in, like, he couldn't even let the guy finish the sentence. He said, yes, yeah, nominate him. I mean, RFK is such He's a jagoff. And I mean it, because he's really hurting people. And so I just had my son's like 20-month appointment and whatnot. And so I'm talking to our, pediatrician. I'm like, hey, should we get the COVID vaccine? Like, I'm just really curious. I want to understand, your thoughts. She's like, absolutely. But like, she said it to me in a way, like she was like upset. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know if we're going to have it. She's like, I don't know. She's like, I think definitely based on the science and the data that we know in the medical community, the kids should get it. My son's 20 months old. I'm terrified this upcoming flu COVID season right now, and that he's not going to be protected because, quite frankly, she's not going to have the materials here,
Jordy,
the vaccines to protect.
Jordy, setting aside COVID, though, which we shouldn't set aside.
Right.
It killed millions of people. Okay. They act like it didn't kill, it killed millions of people. And the vaccine saved tens of millions of lives.
Yeah.
The death could have been so much more. They're not just talking about COVID.
Right.
They're talking about polio. They're talking about measles and mumps and rubella and bubonic plague. Like, they're talking about all of the things that we've eradicated that they want to bring back. I mean, look at the MAGA Surgeon General from Florida. Just to be clear, he says these vaccines, he's not just talking about COVID, Jordy. He's talking about all of them. Polio, rubella, measles, mumps. He's saying that it's slavery, that it's a version of slavery. In 1991, 80+% of Americans supported mandatory vaccines for children. It wasn't like a question. Then in 2019, it was 61%. Right now, it's 51% right now. That's what it is right now. Do we have that clip, Brett, of him? Let's play it if we do.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body?
Now, as a man standing now who puts your hand on your heart to seem earnest, let me ask you to do this, sir. Sir, I want you to go into the home of a child who's suffering from polio or measles or any of the diseases that we've eradicated with vaccine. I want you know what, sir? I'm going to put my hand on my heart, sir, because that shows that I'm a serious man, sir, okay? What I'm going to want you to do, sir, I'm going to want you to bring your children next to their children, okay? And I want to see sir, why don't we have your children go to a country where there's a ton of disease? Ebola, we can bring them to a place where there's COVID. We can bring them to a place where there's mumps and measles. We can bring them to a place where there's we'll put your whole family, sir, and as a man standing there, as a man to man, what are you talking about? Why can't we just be normal here and do what's in the interest of science and health? Why are we going there? Why are we doing that?
Yeah. And, it's almost like these incredible life-saving technologies and advancements in medicine are taken for granted and are like victims of their own success, because people aren't thinking about, well, now they are, now measles is spreading once again, but typically people aren't thinking about measles. They're not worried about mumps or rubella. They're not worried about all polio because we've eradicated a lot of these things, or at least tamped them way down because of vaccines. And so now these people have the nerve to be stripping away these vaccine protections that people died like by the millions over before these things existed. And now you're seeing, like, I just don't understand how, if you're a Florida voter, how are you okay with this? How are you okay sending your child to school with this sort of guidance? Is tax policy that important to you? Or are you going to get rid of these idiots who are endangering you and your kids' lives? It's just so crazy to me. And now we're seeing like this weird kind of division in America, almost like a weird, almost Civil War style division where you have something called the West Coast Alliance, Health Alliance, alliance forming. You have California, Oregon, Washington. You had Hawaii just join. And they're basically saying, all right, if the federal government isn't going to protect us and give proper guidance to our kids and our families on vaccinations, immunizations, on health, then we're going to have to do it ourselves. So you see that happening on the West Coast. You see there are 8 New England and mid-Atlantic states. They formed their own coalition to address these CDC shortfalls, let's say, led by RFK's lies and disinformation. So you have like Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They're banding together right now to make their own recommendations for vaccines. Like, this isn't how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to have a CDC that actually follows science, not this quack RFK Jr. It's like having somebody on like the worst person you know on a Facebook group comment board now leading our nation's health, and it's endangering lives, and it's just stupid. I truly do not believe how anybody, I cannot fathom how anybody could support this sort of quackery.
Well, we've covered a lot today. Absolutely. We had to cover all. I don't know how, there was so much that happened this week that not sure we could have done it any other way. Want to remind everybody to subscribe to Meidas Canada right now. Let's get Meidas Canada to 1 million subscribers in the first month. Ambitious, but let's try to do it. Just search youtube.com/@MeidasCanada. If you can become a member of our YouTube channel right now, that would be incredibly helpful. We know there are lots of people who can't afford membership. So if you are able to gift memberships to others by clicking the join button and gifting memberships, that goes a long way to help as well. You can check out our Substack at MeidasPlus.com, MeidasPlus.com. Next week, we will be doing a Patreon Zoom. So I'm excited to see everybody there. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Excited to meet everybody and answer everybody's questions. Jordy and I will be doing it because Brett will be out, but it'll be a Jordy and Ben. It'll be a Jordy and Ben thing. There's been a lot up in the air lately with our schedules. And the next time you see Brett will be Daddy Brett. So we're excited. So Brett, if you don't see Brett for a few episodes, you know why. Don't hold it against him. He's not abandoning us.
Never.
He's just there with his new baby. So, Brett, all the best to you on behalf of all the Meidas Mighty. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. And Jordy, take it away. Shout out to the Meidas Mighty.
The Meidas Mighty standing strong against the fascists. We sing our song.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.